we're talking about that would still be feasible with the return we're getting, but that's the, that's how you could, if we wanted to pursue that option, we could try and evaluate.
How much additional cost are you talking about?
I don't know, because I, you know, just learned about this with Erwin today. That
I think I'd like to investigate that because I'm still uncomfortable not doing.
Yeah, I think last time we discussed, when you came before the board, I think it was Trustee Masterson suggested that in recognition that interest rates might be going up, we should keep our horizon to the near term.
Oh, we did do that.
And in that vein, and there was a consensus among the trustees that this was a wise and prudent plan. I think in a similar vein, it would be prudent to go for security. We all know that the major banks in the country have somewhat stabilized, but everybody's turning their attention to the regional and local banks as being the next wave that might get shaky. I think if it were my own money, I would go for the security and forfeit the 2% if it were my own money. So to me, it's still a bit of an open question. Unfortunately, this is not an area where I really have expertise.
Well, I guess it comes down to how safe things are. We did, as far as the duration issue, that's not a problem because this is a 1 year. Right. Everything we've got here from Wachovia potentially is a 1 year. Right. Nothing went out far. The original plan from Wachovia went out, I think, maybe even 2.5 years. But I scaled that back with her, so we've got only a 1 year horizon. So as far as that goes, I think we're fine. The safety factor, again, I mean, it really is a question of, and I agree, the return is somewhat insignificant considering the risk reward, and I would never expose the potential loss to 1/4% or 1%. I just don't know if it's a realizable fear. I mean, unless we want to also fine-tune our investment policy to say that we cannot go into government-sponsored entities, we can only be directly in U.S. Treasury.
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't go into government-sponsored entities. I'm just saying when this was originated, I thought that this was spread out over the 20 banks, like the original one was.
Right. I did not allude to that because I know it was not a possibility.
I just said that's my impression.
Well,
So does this make a difference to you now, Bill? Knowing that
I don't know anything about this other entity.
I'm talking about the investment we made with Northside.
No, I said I don't know anything about this.
I'm sure that now you have a new revelation on that investment.
Right.
Do you feel any different about that investment in view of the fact that the bank has offered to give it back if you don't feel comfortable?
Right. It's not giving it back. I have no knowledge or any idea about this insurance that we have.
What do you mean, the farm loan credit, Bob?
I don't know what that is.
well, let me.
I'm saying,
Apparently, the bank sent a whole package, the collateralization agreement, everything to Hal. Let me suggest that I take a look at it and sit down with who I think can properly review it.
Okay.
I have that in my car. I'll bring it in.
Get back to the board. I mean, it may be a very solid collateralization agreement. We may be able to enhance the way that it functions, and you know, I can see some value in that.
And just so that the record's clear, because I know everyone knows it here, but I want to make sure the record knows that I'm a board member of
that was made very clear.
But I just want to make
Not a
sure
secret.
the minutes is right. So
And I contacted other banks as well, too, to compare rates and safety and everything like that along the way. And this was not, you know, a point better than anybody out there that may be skeptical. It was a 1/4 of a point better than the competing banks. So it was just an opportune time to take advantage of it. But again, I think we need to, you know, it's funny, when rates are 12%, nobody cares about security. Now they're at 2%, everybody cares about, you know,
There's been a little bit of a change.
I agree.
Because banks are closing, that's why.
Right, but I mean, our investment policy is the same regardless of rates.
Right.
But it's now that we're earning the lowest possible that
I think
the safety
if
is much
the
more
security
important.
is properly pledged, and I say that.
I don't have a problem with
If the
that.
security is properly pledged.
It's different than what I thought, that's all I'm saying.
I have two questions.
Let me just say this. If the security is properly pledged, the issue is less what happens to a particular bank. It would be, in my view, it would be the inconvenience and delay that we would have in accessing the security. That's the that's the concern. I mean, if there's a series of problems with any of these funds, what you're hoping for is the kind of seamless transition that the FDIC has been able to pull off with several of the large banks. I mean,
That's right.
IndyMac, WAMU, they close on Friday and Monday, everything is pretty much there, although you do read about some accounts that take some time to process. So, I view it as two concerns. One is to make sure that it is properly collateralized, and then secondly, you'll be evaluating the difference between that and simply holding cash or a treasury, something that would be immediately available.
I would like to leave it there if we can be assured that it's good.
Okay, I'll let Bruce read the collateralization agreement, and then after he gives me his opinion, I will contact the bank to see if we can, whatever Bruce feels is fixable in terms of how it's segregated, it's fine. I will say, if there were to be a run and a default on this through our collateralization, we got a lot more problems.
Anything else in your report?
I do have,
Wait,
wait, you
I
have some questions?
Hold on. The investment policy that you're referring to, do we have that in writing?
Yes.
And where would I find that?
It's attached to an ordinance, so the village adopted it a couple of years ago, and later on I can help you.
Okay, that'd be great. And Mike, since you brought up the issue of being on the board, do you receive any compensation as a board member?
Yes.
Bruce, could you send me a copy of the investment strategies?
Basically what we did, just so, because, if you want to know, generally, we follow the guidelines. There's a state statute that defines what we can invest in. And we basically recite the kinds of instruments that we can invest in, because we canvass to the, for example, Wachovia, whoever we're investing money in, we ask them to acknowledge that they are complying with our investment policies. The main decision that we make that villages can differ about in the policy is not so much the types of instruments, because that's pretty
Right.
limited menu, but some guidance to the investment entity about the maturity. Whether I think our limit is a 8-year average maturity, outside maturity. In other words, you kind of choose how far out you're willing to go. That's my.
Right, and I don't think we have anything at this point that's either, everything's probably coming due within 3 or 4 years, so our maturity's fine. This proposal that I have here from Wachovia, she went back and spread out. We talked about $2 million, but she gave us a $1 million proposal, which in light of everything might be just fine. And I'll ask, I've got about 3 or 4 copies of this for into the mayor. And then this basically spreads out $1 million amongst 10 bank CDs. It's a lower rate because it's a national average and everything. Of about, I think the combined rates are about 1.5%. 0.8, yeah, they go down to 0.75 to 1.5. It varies all over, but it does give us. She went on the 100,000 FDIC, even though she could have gone to the 250. But she's trying to be very conservative with that too. Maybe
But it's supposed to change, isn't it?
yeah, but I think it was extended until 2013.
It has already changed.
Yeah.
2013.
2013.
Yeah. So that's what we're okay with that on everything. So I'll leave that for review or opinion. And we've already got money there too, but again, it is through them, but it will be held by all these banks. Nothing to do with Wachovia itself or Wells Fargo.
That's all guaranteed.
Right. So if that order or that procedure is acceptable to everybody, Bruce and I will work on giving kind of review to the situation and the status of that collateralization with Northside. And again, if it's not good, we'll vote.
Point of clarification, the FDIC insurance extended to 2013, January 1 or December 31? Two.
I think
It
it's.
was, the old one was December, so I would assume they did it to December, but I'll confirm that.
To 13.
No, it was to the end of this year.
Right.
But I think they extended that December 31st date to 2013.
And I think it's the December date.
All right.
But I think that everything, even within this Wachovia, will expire in 2010.
Why wouldn't we